It may surprise most, if not all of you, that when this club was chartered back in 1979, it wasn't chartered as the Achievers Club. That would come later. It was chartered as the Attleboro Toastmasters. And they met in Attleboro, somewhere, I'm not sure where, for about 10 years. The name was changed to Achievers around the time of the club's 10th anniversary in 1989, at which time, very likely, the club moved from its first location in Attleboro to its second location in Mansfield, which is where it was when I first visited the club in the summer of 1994. I had joined Toastmasters at another club in Brockton in '93. So do the math, I've been a Toastmaster for 26 years. I remember well that first meeting, which was held in the basement of a bank in Mansfield, about halfway between Route 106 and I believe the only Wendy's in Mansfield. This basement we had access to on a concrete stairways. One of the club officers had the key to get in. I think it was the employees' break room. It was cramped, maybe half the size of this room, with about 2 to 3 times as many people as we have here, but we made it work. We made it work. I particularly remember the end of that meeting. It's the first time I've ever been in an Achievers meeting. Club President Carol Anderson was taking rolls for the next meeting. She got to the role of Toastmaster, and nobody raised their hand. Nobody wanted to do Toastmaster. You need a Toastmaster. 25 years later, I figured out why that was so. It's because Gail Clark wasn't a member then. I'm sure her hand would have went right straight up, and I'll do it. Because she wasn't there, I volunteered. And it was the only time since I've been a Toastmaster that I ever served as Toastmaster at a club at which I was not a member. The next meeting, I served as Toastmaster, and at the end of that meeting, Carol again took roles for the following meeting, but this time she made the stipulation that the roles be filled by Achievers members. It was painfully obvious that she was referring to me. Absolutely no question. And the message was clear. Join! And so I joined. And I was a member for 3 years until 1997, when I took on a job that placed incredible, excessive demands on my time. And I let my membership lapse in this club and 2 other clubs I was also a member of at the time. So for 2 years I wasn't in Toastmasters at all. In May 1999, I received in the mail an invitation to attend the 20th anniversary dinner meeting of the Achievers Club, which that year was held at a restaurant on Route 1 in Norwood. Don't remember the name of the restaurant, but that's irrelevant. I went because I was invited, rekindled old relationships, and I didn't realize until I was there how much I missed these people. I'm not really a sentimental person, but meeting all these people for the first time in 2 years, I realized I actually missed them. Rejoined the Achievers and the 2 other clubs that I'd been a member of 2 years earlier because I wanted my life back. This time I was a member for 11 years and left for yet another reason. So I've joined this club 3 times and I've left it 3 times. And one other thing that I wanted to mention, I was coming to this club meeting anyway. And I promised myself that I would when 2 conditions were met. Number 1, when I received my certificate of registration for my book from the United States Copyright Office at the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. I have that framed now. So the certificate of registration, that's kind of a big deal. The other one was when I got my first royalty check. Well, I actually haven't got it, but I finally qualified for it because my accumulated royalties are 102 something, and through April, which is the latest month that my publisher has provided me, they don't cut a check for under 100, so I achieved that, and that's why I'm here. I was coming anyway. I will now transition to a topic, and unfortunately Stuart isn't here, that's near and dear to Stuart's heart. And Kat, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about speech contests. Way back in 1980, just a year after the nascent Attleboro Toastmasters, which later became the Achievers Club, was formed, early member, probably charter member, attorney Dan Blake won the international contest at the district level and went on to win it at the regional level, and thus became the first, and as I understand it, only one of 2 members this club has ever had in 40 years to perform, to compete at the international level, the other being Stuart, as I found out from Kat. A year or 2 ago, he placed 3rd in the world. 3rd in the world. During the 1990s, there were 2 big names in speech contests in this club, Paul Burke and Margot Shevers. Each of them won both the humorous contest and the international contest at the district level twice. I think Stuart's probably already achieved that too. And about 10 years later, maybe 15 years ago, was another name that came up, Catherine Morrison. And as the Toastmaster of that particular meeting, I had the honor of introducing her, because that's the way she wrote it, as Dr. Catherine Morrison. She had just earned her doctor's degree. I'm not sure in what field, but that's a big deal too. And she also won both the humorous and international contest at the district level. This afternoon when I was delivering newspapers, I thought of one more name that I should mention in relation to speech contests. But before I do, I should mention probably an antiquated role that we don't have anymore so far as I know, and that's the role of pace setter. A pace setter went up first, spoke, supposedly warmed up the audience, and gave the support people, the judges particularly, a little practice on the forums. They weren't a formal contestant, but they were ranked. About 15 years ago, something like that, in this club when we were meeting at another location in Foxboro. By the way, this is like either the 4th or the 5th location in Foxboro we've met. And I noticed that We started out in Attleboro, moved to Mansfield, then Foxboro. We're drifting north. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if sometime in the future we were in Norwood or Westwood or whatever. Anyway. So, Club Humor Speech Contest, former location. We had a pace setter, and we had the contestants. Unfortunately, neither the first or the second place contestant was able to advance to the area level because of schedule conflicts. At the club level, the club can choose someone to advance or to represent the club at the next level, the area level. The one we chose was the pace setter, Paul Robinson. And he advanced to the area and won. He advanced to the Division F contest and won. He advanced to the district level and won. And he was never intended to be a contestant in the first place. He was just a pace setter. So that's just a weird thing that can happen. I have to tell you this. There was one time that I served as contest master for a humorous contest when we were meeting in the basement of the bank in Mansfield. What a contest. There were more contestants than I've ever seen at a club level contest. 7. But we were a healthy club. We had about 40 members at the time, but still 7. The same Carol Anderson that I mentioned earlier was one of those contestants. And she cued me to the fact that she'd be leaving the back of the room, not leaving the building, but leaving the room to get into costume. Costume turned out to be that of a dairy cow. Title of her speech was Customer Service and the Cow, and her opening lines was, "The cow is of the bovine ilk. One end is moo, and the other end is milk." Don't know how she fared, but I'll now go into what I refer to as Achievers' achievements. 2 people have won Area Governor of the Year. This is in 40 years. One won Division Governor of the Year, and you're looking at him. 3 won Toastmaster of the Year, and I'm one of them. 5, by my count, have won district level speech contests. 9 have earned DTMs, including Tej Powell, who I believe is the most recent one. 6, including myself, have served as division governors, and 9 have earned DTMs, and 11 were members of the Advanced Orators Club. And I just wanted to... Succeeding Carol Anderson as club president was Kathy Hickman, and I know these names are just names to you, but they were living, breathing people who actually existed. At one point, Carol earned a Doctor of Education degree and pursued a professional position in her field that she really wanted in Nevada. So she had to leave the club. That inspired Kathy Hickman to write a song based on a theme I know you know. It's very familiar. And no, Carol was not Jewish. That's kind of a hint. Another club member, Cindy Ballard, performed this song accompanying herself on a tambourine. I don't have a tambourine tonight, but I do have you people. And I'm going to cue you to clap rhythmically to a certain tempo. Carol is leaving our hearts, are grieving our chests, are grieving why did she go? She's a sensation, our inspiration, the motivation for us to grow. Carol will miss your smile, your sight, Kawaki style. No one knows how to file the way you do. No, no, say you won't go. Area cows are sadly mooing. Business women are boo-hooing. And the Achievers Club is ruining. Carols need to go over the rainbow to the Vegas casino. Carol is leaving our heads, are reeling how sad we're feeling, and yet we know she's made her mark here, measured results here, and now it's quite clear it's tally-ho. She's conquered goals and fears over these last 10 years, shouting through lots and tears, I love Toastmasters. Yes, yes, much happiness, even though California named her, the Achievers Club has claimed her, fanning the flames of fame that tamed her, and she departs, will live in our hearts. We love Carol and her son. I know I'm running over my expected time, but I put this together this afternoon too. When people come to Achievers, it turns them into conceivers. They conceive they can fight something known as stage fright, and that turns them into believers. The spirit is always alive at club number 1625. Members take on roles to go to their goals. We don't just meet here, we thrive. Madam Toastmaster.